Inequalities. What I want you to do is go ahead and hit pause and then copy all this information down, and then I'll explain it to you. So go ahead and do that. Alright, it says an inequality is a mathematical sentence that compares quantities that are not equal. Okay? So when we're comparing, for example, x is greater than 5. That is an inequality. Okay? And this particular sign is what replaces the equal sign. So x is greater than, that would be this. It means that it is more than, that it exceeds that amount. Okay? It has to be greater than 5. If it is a less than sign, then it is less than, it is fewer than. Okay? It has to be less than that amount. This sign and this sign, these two, this means less than or equal to. So it has to be less than that amount, or it can be equal to that amount. Okay? It is no more than, it is at most that amount. Okay? For this one over here, greater than or equal to is greater than or equal to, and then it is no less than is at least that amount. Okay, so there are some different words that you can use that would represent that greater than and less than or equal to sign. So something to think about. So for example, if I put a line under this, it would be x is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, so it has to be, it can include 5 and then on up. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on is what the answer would be to this. And again, we're just trying to find, solving like an expression or an equation, but instead of an equal sign, it is an inequality. So let's look at this next one. It says write an inequality sentence for, or an inequality for each sentence. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do letter A, hit pause, and we'll see what you come up with. Go ahead and do that. So it says the height requirement is greater than or equal to 40 inches. So we're going to use any variable you want. Since it's talking about height requirement, we'll use h. And it says that it is greater than or equal to 40 inches. Okay, that is the inequality. This is what this statement is stating. Okay, so with that being said, go ahead and do letter B. Go ahead and hit pause. The speed limit is less than or equal to 35 miles per hour. So the speed limit, we'll use S for speed, is less than or equal. So it is going to be less than or equal to 35. Okay? Questions on that? Please write them down and let me know. But again, it is just reading this statement and writing it in that format. Go ahead and hit pause and try to write this inequality. Now this one's a little bit different. You have to read it very carefully. It says a student must have at least 10 hours of instructor-assisted driving time to pass the course. Write an inequality to describe the situation. So it has to have at least 10 hours of instruction time. So at least, that's the minimum amount. So when we go back and look at what we have here, okay, at least is really referring to greater than or equal to. And I know that when we see the word least, it, in our minds, makes us think that it has to be less than, but it's the minimum amount if it's at least 10 hours. So again, talking about hours, it is going to be greater than 10 or equal to 10. Okay? Because it's at least 10 hours. That's the minimum. So H has to be greater than or equal to 10. That's your answer to that. For this, it says for each given value, state whether each inequality is true or false. So all you're going to need to do for these is literally plug in the value of the variable and tell me if the inequality is correct or not. So we're going to take 3 plus, we're going to put 6 in for x, and then less than or equal to 12. Well, let's solve it. What's 3 plus 6? 9. Is it, and some of you want to say, oh, well, it doesn't equal 12. Does it hold true? Is 9 less than or equal to 12? In this case, yes, it does. So it is true. Okay, it is less than or equal to 12. Go ahead and hit pause and try this one. All right, so now you're going to simply take the value of p, which is 40. So it's going to be 40 minus 42 is less than or equal to, that is a negative 2. So let's solve this. 40 minus 42 gives me a negative 2, less than, equal to, negative 2. And is it less than? No. But is it equal to? Yes. Okay. Now, so this answer again is true. Now, something you have to be very careful with in doing the integers. Okay, let's say this was negative 3 is less than or equal to negative 2. Would that still be true? And in this case, it is, because negative 3 is less than or equal to negative 2, thinking of your number line. If it were a negative 1, being less than or equal to negative 2, then this would be false, because negative 1 is larger than negative 2. So be very, very careful on our integers. On the next one, it says graph each inequality on a number line. Well, we'll give you the number line, okay? And what I want you to do is go ahead and hit pause, copy this down right here. So go ahead and do that. Now when we look at this, this is a less than or greater than sign. That is going to be an open circle, okay, on my graph, because it does not include the number given. So when it says a is greater than 6, okay, it does not include 6. It has to be greater than 6. So we put an open circle around 6 and then basically fill in that line and make an arrow pointing in that direction, because it has to be greater than. If it were less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, which is this, it is a closed circle, meaning you fill it in. Okay, just simply circle it in. That is a closed circle, and that would then include this number. So if it was greater than or equal to, then I would close this in, I'd color it in, draw a line with my arrow on it like this. Okay, that would be if it were greater than or equal to 6. So let's go ahead and try one. Go ahead and graph letter F. Go ahead and hit pause. All right, it has x is less than 5. So we're going to draw our line, okay, and simply start here. I'm going to put a 5. I'm going to do a 6. And then over here, I'm going to put a 4. Okay, that's all the numbers you really need, is a number on both sides. So then we have 5. It is less than 5, so I'm going to leave it as an open circle. Okay, open circle because it does not include 5, because it's not equal to. And it says that x is less than 5. So since it's less, we're going to draw our line and put an arrow at the end. It's a little difficult with my I'm just going to draw a simple little arrow. But you'll shade this in like that. This is open because it does not include 5. Okay, go ahead and hit pause and try letter G. All right, once again, draw your line. And we're going to put -2 -3, -1. And looking at -2, since it does include, since it says x is greater than or equal to -2, we're going to fill in a circle right on the 2, or -2. And since it's greater than, we're going to draw our line to the right, put an arrow on it, because it includes every single number that's listed from -2 on, meaning larger. Okay? That's how you graph it. Now this says write an inequality for each graph. We're going to write an inequality. We're going to take what we learned from this last graph and apply it. So it's going to be x. And then is it going to be greater than or less than? Well, it's going to be greater than. And is it shaded in? If it is, then we've got to put an equal to underneath it. And what number is this? There's 0, there's -2, so that would be a -1. So x is greater than or equal to -1. That is exactly what this is stating. I want you to go ahead and hit pause and solve this one below. Alright, so we have x. You can use any variable that you wish. It doesn't matter. And since we're starting with a open circle, okay, and then it is going to the left, so it is going to be less than. And since it's open, it is not going to be equal to. And since this is on the 2, it'll be a 2. So x is less than 2. And that is what this graph is representing. Okay. If you have questions, again, please feel free to ask in class. We do have a quiz tomorrow. On Thursday, I should say, depending on when you view this video. So make certain that you are prepared for that, and certainly ask any questions as you see them fit. Have a great night.